Me being known and tagged by Oprah Winfrey as the original comeback coach, I would say that I'm pretty good at turning the setback to comeback. So I have different strategies and ways to get people up and out. Number one, become awake. Number two, take inventory. Number three, you got to partner with the right people. Number four, you need the right principles. This is where a lot of people get in trouble. Their principles suck. So you need to redo your principles about character, about how you treat people, about what's important. See, the principles will take you to a place. Wrong principles, wrong place. Right principles, right place.
Today I'm joined by Tim Storey, world-renowned speaker, life coach. He's an author. He's often called the comeback coach. He's spoken in 75 countries. Is that still an accurate number, 75, or is it more than that now?
It's around there, yeah.
He's spoken to millions of people, packed arenas, boardrooms, and Hollywood sound stages. He's coached and counseled some of the most recognizable leaders, entertainers, and executives all around the world. His books include The Miracle Mentality and The Comeback and Beyond. He's inspired readers to rise above their challenges and live with vision and intention. Tim has been featured on Oprah's Super Soul Sunday, Good Morning America, all sorts of different TV shows. And I even saw on Instagram that you're filming some things coming out this Christmas. I'm so excited about it. Mm-hmm. Tim Storey has been one of the most inspirational people that I have ever met in my life. And I am so humbled and honored that you would agree to join me on my podcast today. Thank you for being here.
What a privilege. And I was complimenting you on your clothing attire.
Oh, thank you.
That's a great blouse.
Thank you so much. I'm bringing back the women's cufflinks. That's my goal of this blouse.
I think cufflinks need to come back. So you might as well bring them back.
Well, men get to decorate their shirts. I figure women, we should get to decorate our shirts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it matches with your giant earrings.
Yes, exactly. So I like to just dive right in whenever I'm asking questions. You always say, or one of the things you always say is, God is not done with you. The pain wasn't meant to destroy you. It was meant to wake you up. So I'm here to talk about, one of my personal missions is to talk about strategic reinvention. So what is a time when God knocked you down so hard that you had to wake up?
So number one, I think that in life, hopefully we all have momentum at different times in our life. So you have momentum, and then there's something that happens called a life interruption. As you know, an interruption is a disturbance into something. So you had a flow, and then life kind of intercepted and took you the other way. So I think for me was my father passing when I was 10 years of age, because we were already struggling. We were from a lower income house in Compton, California. We were already struggling. And then for my father to be going through a green light, a man ran a red light, hit him, and then he passed. That was a life interruption that was pretty major. But I don't see it as God doing that, or God sending it, or God knocking anybody down. I see it as just life is life. Life is up, life is down, and life can be challenging, but God is still there.
Yeah. So how do you manage to, get yourself back up when life knocks you down like that?
Well, I think that when somebody is going through a setback, number one, you have to become awake. So you have to wake up and realize that, yikes, what do we have here? I have a crying mother who I've never heard cry in my life. So I remember asking my brother, who's 3 years older than me, like, Randy, how do we get her to stop crying? He goes, I know, it's hurting me too. Because we had never heard my mother cry.
Right.
And now she was crying what she thought was secretly in her room because her husband just died. So I think, number one, you have to become awake. Secondly, you have to take inventory. Inventory is, now that I've had this setback, what am I dealing with? How are my emotions? How's my mindset? How are my finances? How do I somehow work myself out of this situation?
How do you think if somebody is so far down in the ditch that life has knocked them down that hard, Like, what do you think is the catalyst or that step between like they're in the ditch and life has knocked them down to being able to, take that inventory or take that first step up out of the ditch?
Yeah, I think number one is you have to be very realistic. Because we have seen so many fantasies in movies or documentaries or read books or watched social media of fantasies of rags to riches, it's not always that way. Sometimes somebody's comeback could take 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. I'm okay with that as long as they're getting better every day. So as you know, I coach the biggest stars in the world. And when I'm working with a big movie star that maybe had a tremendous setback, I tell them, you may not come back for a minute, but we're going to get you back to the right place and possibly a new place. So it's a step-by-step process.
Don't you think it's so easy though to get stuck whenever you're in that space? In the in-between, between the setback and the comeback, like it's easy to get stuck.
Yes,
in the depression of it.
It's even more than easy. It's something that most people just do, because when you're in a setback, it's like, how do I get out of this broken marriage? Like, let's say if it's a woman and the man committed adultery on her and left for someone else, and she put 18 years into this guy, and she's like, really, buddy? After all that I put into you? Or if it's a person whose son was just walking and somebody hit them and the son ends up dying. Right. These are cases that I deal with.
Yeah.
So, I mean, some things in life you would have never ordered from Life's Diner, and you just think, I guess I'm done at 33. I'm going to be a discount version of myself. And I think that that's where a lot of people in the world live. They have become a discount version of themselves based on a setback that they do not think they could have the comeback.
And don't you think that it almost sometimes, maybe not for everybody, but it almost takes an outside catalyst to kind of spark something to get them to get up? Maybe it's seeing you speak, or maybe it's reading your book, or maybe somebody gives them a book that was meaningful to them, or maybe it's going to church, or who knows what that little catalyst could be. But sometimes it feels like when you're that far down in the ditch, that it would take a little spark of a catalyst from outside of yourself.
So it will always 100% take an outside person. So anybody that says, I just pulled myself up, probably not. Because we learn 3 ways: education, conversation, observation. So that person who says, I just pulled myself up, he probably saw a movie, or she saw a documentary, or she heard that this person did it, so maybe I could do it.
Yeah.
There was always some point of inspiration, whether it be through education, conversation, and observation. And I think that one of the ways to get up is to educate yourself up and out. And that's what we did as a family. We were lower income. Mother had a 6th grade education. Father had a 10th grade education. Father passes, as I said, when I'm only 10 years of age. We educated ourselves up and out. I didn't know I was going to get a doctorate degree. I just knew that my older sister said, you got to study, 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 you got to study. And then here I am.
What do you think is that difference between, some people that, are living in less than desirable situations, living with setbacks, that do get up and out, versus some same situation, same circumstance, maybe even the same catalyst sparks to them, but they don't get up and out? What do you think is that difference?
So I think some people, it is innate for them just to bounce back. They're just ferocious. And some people would say, oh, it's because you're an Aquarius. I don't really buy into that part, but I do know that some people that I work with, just innate in them, they're like little beasts. They're like, I will get back up, male and female. So I think others that do not get back up, they have the wrong environment. environment is so important to getting back up. Because if you're around a lot of people that have had setbacks and they did not get back up, you're probably going to be just another statistic in the middle of that environment. So you have to find a way to break out of that environment. And one way to break away is by reading, by watching TED Talks, by YouTube videos, by watching your podcast, by watching my podcast. No, there's ways to get out. Even if you're in a bad environment today, you can get out by just studying books, YouTube videos, etc.
God, we're so lucky too. I mean, I'm old enough. I don't know about you, but I'm old enough to remember a time before we had access to all this information and content at our fingertips, literally our phones.
Yes.
But when I was young, or maybe not so young, I mean, we didn't have all of that. I mean, we could go to the library and get books, or if you had the means, you could go buy a book, but you had to go somewhere to do that.
Yes.
You couldn't just order it on the internet or have it delivered to your house. And now, you can just learn anything on the internet.
Yes, and have Amazon ship it the next day by 10 a.m. So really there's no excuse.
Right.
There's no excuse, but you could at least get better. And so again, the rags to riches stories are great. The Williams sisters who come out of the same city as me, Compton, that story is amazing, but you don't find so many stories like that at that crazy level, okay?
Right.
So I do think that you should believe beyond and have a miracle mentality. I wrote a book on the miracle mentality with HarperCollins. And so I do believe in all that, but also believe in reality and just getting better every day.
Yeah.
And the reason I reemphasize that, because I've said this twice, is because people are getting frustrated because certain things did not happen as fast as they thought they would.
I think that's so indicative of our society. Everything moves so fast in our society now that everybody wants things to happen fast. And it sometimes it just doesn't happen as fast as you want it to, but that's not an excuse to be better today than you were yesterday.
Mm-hmm. That's how I see it.
I mean, I think that at least the way I approach it is that I'm not really in a competition with anybody else. There's going to be people that have done things better than me. There's going to be people that have done things faster than me or whatever. And there's going to be lesser people than me.
Yeah.
But none of that concerns me. Like, I'm in a competition with me.
Yeah.
And I have to be better today than I was tomorrow, and get up, dress up, and show up, today better than I did yesterday.
Yeah. That's a good way of looking at it. I see things in a different way than most people because I have different experiences. One of the things that I've been doing since my early 20s is I go to retirement centers to speak to people that are now in a retirement center. So some of them were in big houses, mid-sized houses, small houses, but I've been to the greatest retirement homes you can imagine, full of people that are very wealthy. And some of them are going around in wheelchairs. Most are going around in electric wheelchairs. Some are moving very slowly in walkers. And a lot of them are people we grew up watching. Yeah. They're talk show hosts that we grew up watching. They're the biggest actors in the world that we grew up watching. I won't say their names, but I worked with probably 10 of the biggest of our icon actors, male and female, and I've seen them in that state. Yeah. Okay. What a wake-up call when you're in your 20s.
Right.
So to me, I never see life as like a competition, because someday we'll all be fortunate enough to live to that age and hopefully not have to use a walker someday.
Right.
Or not have to be in a scooter, but that might happen.
Right. Right.
And so I'm just thankful for every day. I'm thankful for the opportunities that I get, and I'm okay with the doors that I don't get.
Sure, sure. One of the things that I recently decided for myself was that I decided that age is a mindset. and that whatever my actual age is, which we don't have to talk about today, I just decided that I am going to, if people can identify as whatever they want to identify as, I'm just going to identify as 45.
Yes.
I thought 40 was a little young. I didn't really want to go back that
I like
far.
45 for you. That's good.
And I didn't really want to be older. So I just decided 45 was the age I was going to be. And I'm going to be 45. I don't know how long I'm going to be 45.
Yes.
It may be for a long time. I may just stay there for a long time. So the day I decided, literally the day I decided that, I was at a dinner party, and I think I was sitting across from you, or you were in the room. And there was a lady that I'd never met, and she was talking. She had no idea how old I was. And she said something to the effect of, well, I think I'm the oldest one here.
Yeah.
And I said, well, how old are you? And she said, and it was an age that's younger than my actual age. And I said, oh, you look so good for your age.
Yeah.
Because she clearly thought I was younger than her.
Yeah, because you're 45.
Yeah, because I'm 45.
Yeah, so I think that, good people have passed at 20. Martin Luther King was very young when he passed away. A lot of amazing people passed away at a very young age. So I think, what a privilege to be on this earth as long as we get to be on.
Yeah.
And let's enjoy every moment.
Absolutely.
But I'm with you. I say you stay stuck on 45. It's
That's
working
my
for you.
current-
Otherwise,
my
you're
current plan.
Otherwise, you're gonna wake up and go oh, my bones are aching, and then you go, they're
Exactly.
not aching. You're only 45.
I mean, now when I'm 70, I may have to revise that, but I'm not there yet.
Right.
You say heartbreak doesn't come from romance. It comes from disappointments, betrayals, and even missed opportunities. So what heartbreak has shaped your message the most?
So heartbreak can come from romance, but it's not the only thing. It can come from betrayal. It can come from letting yourself down. It can come from some kind of disappointment that you expected to happen. So there's a scripture in the Bible that says unrelenting disappointment can leave you heart sick. So the word disappointment means something did not work. So we live in a world where people keep getting disappointed. They're disappointed. It can leave you heart sick. What does that mean? To be sick there in that word in the Hebrew means to be ill or to be fated. So when you get disappointed, you start to feel ill in the heart. Why is that not good? Because courage comes from your heart. Faith comes from your heart. Strength comes from your heart. So I think we're living in a world where a lot of people have been disappointed and they become heart sick.
Yeah.
So I have been disappointed. And I would say the biggest disappointment was me getting divorced many, many years ago, because I was like the happy guy. I married into a very powerful family, and I asked my ex-wife's dad for her hand in marriage, and it only lasted, the marriage lasted around 11 years. That was very disappointing to a guy like me who always got along with everybody.
Right.
So yeah, so I've been through my own challenges.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm having this thought as you're saying that, both our first conversation and this one, that it seems like a lack of perspective. Like it seems like all of those topics, the heartbreak or whenever you're faced with those really downtrodden moments, that at least if you're a Christian, that it's a lack of perspective of the broader picture, right?
Yes.
That right now we're going through some of these tough times for some reason, but that if you really believe that there's, the life after, that this is all just momentary.
Yes. Yeah. And I think that it's important to realize that life is full of faults, flaws, and failures, and just be okay with it.
Yeah.
Because if you buy a new house in Beverly Hills, in 7 years, there's some things that are going to start going wrong within the house.
Right.
Because I'm in these houses all the time, and I've lived in these houses in that city. Something's going to go wrong no matter where you are. If you're in Palm Beach, if you're in Marbella, Spain, and you have a $32 million home, something's going to go wrong in the home. As human beings, we have faults, flaws, and failures. So let's just put that in and just realize that's part of life, which of course, you know, as an attorney, that there's so many people that you've had as clients that are looking for like the perfect outcome. I want the perfect outcome.
Or the perfect person.
Right. And I've never really seen the perfect outcome, and I've never met the perfect person.
And don't you think that that's part of what makes us all beautiful, though, is our imperfections? If we all looked the same or we were all homogenous, then there wouldn't really be that discernment of beauty.
Then we would be the Stepford Wives, which was a great movie with Nicole Kidman.
Right.
Yes, when they decided to make them into like robots.
Right, right. Or I always say, or like Barbie, you know.
Yes.
Because as young girls, we're always kind of socialized that Barbie is this little perfection that we should always attain. And none of us can be Barbie because her waist is too tiny for the rest of her.
Yeah,
and,
I like being undone. I think some of the greatest creatives that I meet are undone. If you sit in the studio with Pharrell Williams, sometimes he just doesn't talk for a long time because he's not in the mood to talk. And then sometimes he's very talkative. To be in the studio with the Stevie Wonders of life, like I get to, you know, you see the beauty of everything that he's doing.
Right.
But yet he's working maybe through his own personal things in life. Life is flawed, and welcome to this place called Earth.
Right. I heard the most interesting podcast the other day that was talking about all of these great geniuses, whether they're musical geniuses or scientific geniuses, that they probably all had, you know, some version of maybe a little bit of autism spectrum or ADD or, you know, something like that. And we've been in this societal place of trying to diagnose these things and homogenize people, but yet those are the things that made Einstein who he was, or, you know, some of the musical geniuses.
Agree. So Deepak Chopra, my friend, talks a lot about that. And so does Gabrielle Maté, about this idea about some of the great geniuses, as you're saying, male and female, would be considered a little bit off if they were in kindergarten or first grade.
Right.
And I think that some of the people that I went to school with that seemed like they had it sewed together and their parents packed their lunch perfectly, they've lived pretty normal lives. But some of the ones, like my friend Joe Rampt, who was a little bit zany, he ended up working at Pixar and creating like 5 of the biggest Disney movies ever. So that's how I see it.
Yeah, I agree. What strategies do you personally use whenever chaos is trying to derail your focus? You know, how do you separate the noise from, you know, just signal?
Yeah. So I think that I don't think any strategy is like flawless. I think that that's why grandmothers always say, it's my secret recipe. Because maybe they got a recipe from somebody that was like well-known on television at that time, right? But then they would say, it tastes a little bland. I'm going to throw in my own little secret sauce. Make sense?
Yep.
So I think that, you know, me being known and tagged by Oprah Winfrey as the original comeback coach, which thank you, Oprah, for that. That was kind. I would say that I'm pretty good at turning the setback to comeback. So I have different strategies and ways to get people up and out. But I also think people need to put in their own little flavoring and ingredients. But I said, number 1, become awake. Number 2, take inventory. Number 3, you got to partner with the right people. Number 4, you need the right principles. This is where a lot of people get in trouble. Their principles suck. Their ideals, their ideas, a way that they're going to live life, they're not good. So you need to redo your principles, like about character, about how you treat people, about what's important. Yeah. The principles will take you to a place. Wrong principles, wrong place. Good principles, right place.
I think as a society, it feels like we've kind of gotten a little mushy on some of our principles, and
Yes.
you know, and we you know, maybe other people have good points, like, oh, maybe we should compromise those principles, But I think you're right. We need to kind of get back to like some fundamentals.
Well, when you see it all the way down to the way we do politics, but this is nothing new. This goes way back.
Yeah.
And we're not the only country around this place called America. There's countries all over the place, and they have the same problems. So when people are trying to dismantle somebody and break them down just to win a position in a political party or then to win another position, I think it's terrible.
Right.
It is awful.
Right.
And don't think that little kids don't see that.
Yeah.
So they're thinking if they're bullying at the top, then I can bully in the first grade.
Mm-hmm.
I promise you, they watch.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's that's one of the good sides and the downsides of media now, where we have kind of the 24/7, always in your face cameras of the media cycle. That on the one hand, young girls get to see older women that look like them in politics or in, powerful positions. But on the other hand, the power of the camera always in your face is bullying.
Yes.
Can be. Yeah.
Yes. I agree with you.
Yeah.
And as much as I love media and I'm in all forms of media, I think, we're being watched at all times. If I go into 7-Eleven, I'm being watched. If I get gas, I'm being watched. If I go to CVS, I'm being watched. Right now, I'm being watched. When I speak at this conference in about an hour and a half, I'll be watched.
Yeah.
So we're constantly watched.
Right.
Where in the 40s, not so much.
Right. Nobody watched us and nobody much cared. And now everybody cares about everything, I also think that reality TV had such a huge effect on our society because, reality TV is supposed to be real. It's supposed to be reality. But to get ratings and, reality TV has to be so over dramatized. And so it influenced our society that reality must mean that we have to create drama. We have to stir up shit with each other and fight or argue or bully or whatever. And I think that's had a really deleterious effect on our society.
So my answer to that is I concur.
That was simple. You're supposed to talk more than me, though.
No, I concur. To quote Leonardo DiCaprio in that great movie he did with Steven Spielberg.
I concur. That was very. I think a couple of Supreme Court justices said that too.
They did.
Just
they
a
did.
simple "I concur." That was probably a Ruth Bader Ginsburg quote, right?
I would agree.
When you strip away all the labels, life coach, pastor, author, who is Tim Storey at his most essential?
Just a kind person. I was always kind. I'm the youngest of 5 children. I was great to my brother, who was 3 years older than me, great to my sisters, great to my mother, great to my dad, great to my neighbors, nice to the teachers. I'm a kind person who God gave a skill set to be creative, and people saw that and mentored me into places I could never have manipulated myself into. So the life that I get to live, which is known as a life that is helping a lot of people, I could never have done it unless I had the mentors. But I think that at the root of me, the essence of me is I'm a kind person.
After helping so many people, so many famous people, maybe not so famous people, rise up out of their setbacks. When the lights go out for you and you're in your quiet moments, what are the fears that you still face?
Not too many. No, I'm good. So I think life is undone. I have cousins that are incarcerated because that's the culture we come from. If you're raised in a tough neighborhood, you learn tough patterns and do things maybe you shouldn't do. I understand family pain. I understand marital pain. So me in the dark is me in the light. I'm staying in a big suite right now. I didn't pay for it. This conference was nice enough to do it, and I appreciate it. I mean, I'm like a kid. I'm like, oh my God. So when I had a house with 7 bathrooms and an elevator in Beverly Hills for so long, I appreciated every little inch of that house. But I could live that way, and I also could stay in a hut in a third world nation and go help people. So no, I'm happy in the dark and I'm happy in the light.
And do you think that the fact that you came from humble
Hardship,
beginnings
yeah.
and hardship and overcome hardship in several different areas
100%.
has made you that?
I mean, what are you going to do? Send me back to where I was? I'm not really afraid.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
so I don't get scared when because I get like big deals. In fact, one of the biggest producers in the world just texted me last night about a movie I'm working on with probably one of the 4 biggest actors in the world. So think about this. This is not exaggerating. One of the 4 biggest. And he said, oh, there's a holdup because now he's wanting to do this project. Well, we've been on this project for a while, and I'm excited because I got one of the biggest producers and one of the biggest actors saying yes. But I promise you, I read the text and went, okay. Because let me get on to my other stuff, and hopefully that actor will come back around. But so that's how I see things.
Yeah.
And my friends know I see things like that too. Like I could have the worst news, because you know about things like this. So somebody was suing me for something that I was not even in the neighborhood of. This had to do with a business deal. And if you hear noise in the background, you guys, because they're doing construction in the hotel we're in. So you guys just get past the
We
noise.
just have to improvise and overcome.
No, but this is good. This is all life. So I was in the middle of a speech at a big conference, and I got served papers.
Oh my.
So there was like the yellow folder, and somebody comes, a man, thin guy with a suit, with a tie that was crooked, and he goes like this in front of everybody. He goes, "You've been served." Okay? In front of all these people. It was a lot. So I went like this. I took the papers and I go, "That was very courageous of you." I said, don't go anywhere, because he tried to run away. I go, "Let's give this man a clap."
Yeah.
I said, "Sir, don't leave anywhere. Just right here. Just stay here." I said, "That was courageous. You're just doing your job. You just served me." I guess somebody's suing me. I said, "So you just served me. You did your job." I said, "Give me your hand. Shake my hand." I said, "Do me, but don't leave. You should stand in the back and watch me speak. I'm a pretty good speaker." And the place just started clapping and laughing. And number one, I honored the guy for doing his job. I didn't belittle him. I mean, most people would be so embarrassed to get served because it really makes people's minds go.
Right.
I jumped right on my speech like someone had just brought me ice cream.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's life.
Yeah. It's life. It's life. And right, that guy was just doing his job.
He was doing his job.
He didn't sue you.
Yes.
But all the lawyers in town probably should have hired him because he had the courage to come serve you like that.
Is that legal for him to do that in the middle of that big public setting?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was
You would know
public.
because you're an
Yeah,
attorney.
it was public. So what books or podcasts, I guess these days, but what books or podcasts really made a difference in your life?
I'm a Bible guy. I'm into Proverbs, Psalms. I didn't change from Think and Grow Rich. I loved Robert Schuller in the 70s. He did some great books. Tough Times Never Last, Tough People Do. Youngie Cho, who had a church of close to 1 million people in one church from Seoul, Korea, wrote The Fourth Dimension. I was changed by those books, but I'm Psalms and Proverbs all day long, and I rock in the Psalms and Proverbs. Like all this other stuff is like variations of the Psalms and the Proverbs in the book of Ecclesiastes. So I like my books. I think The Miracle Mentality is dope. I spent 5 years writing it. Some people live in the mundane, the messy, the madness, but I'm all about the Psalms and the Proverbs.
What are you reading now?
The Psalms and the Proverbs.
Again, how many times have you read the Psalms in the
No,
car?
I study 2 hours a day. So I study 2 hours a day, 7 days a week. But I love Jamie Kern Lima. She just wrote a new book called
Yes.
Worthy. I always shout out my friends. I love Brene Brown. That's my other friend. I love Elizabeth Gilbert. That's my friend. She wrote a book about, finding herself. And then Julia Roberts played her in a movie. So I love all my buddies that write these books, but that's not the thing that moves me. Like these people that say, and my kid reads a book a week, he's not retaining so much. You got to meditate on something.
Right.
Like I've read Atomic Habits 7 times and it's barely getting in my bloodstream.
Yeah.
So I'm not a person that's into like a book a week. No, I mean, I've done pretty well by just filtering myself and strengthening myself in the things of God and learning wisdom and learning how to maneuver through that.
What is the single most powerful piece of advice that you've ever been given?
I've been given so much great advice, so I cannot bring it to a single, but I think that the late, great Quincy Jones, who probably has maybe 22 to 28 Grammys, Academy Award, he mentored me for 37 years of my life. It wasn't a quote, it was a mandate. Get up and be you. Get up and be you and dominate.
Love that.
And so I do.
I love that.
But I don't speak about it, I just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah, but I mean, he dominated. Quincy Jones worked from Barbra Streisand all the way to helping create Thriller, the great album with Michael Jackson. So
Right.
no, Quincy, like he was tough on me. Like he taught me just dominate.
Yeah. What's your favorite Bible verse?
I like this one that says, "For God knows the end from the beginning, and He knows what is yet to come." And that's Isaiah 46, verse 9, because what it means is that God knows my past. He knows my present. I don't know my present because I'm not usually fully here. And that's why Eckhart Tolle wrote The Power of Now,
Right.
because most people are really not in the now.
Present. Uh-huh.
I'm more present than most people that I know. I think you could feel like I'm really here, but still there are distractions that hit people's lives, okay?
Yeah.
So God knows our past, He knows my present, but He knows my intended future. So that's a powerful scripture. For God knows the end from the beginning, and He knows what is yet to come.
Right.
Yet to come means yet to watch, unfold. So just around the corner, your life could be so amazing in 26, 27, 28, that it's so great, it's weird.
And I'm still going to be 45.
And you'll still be 45. So that's the greatness of what happened to me. Like, did I think that I would speak to 85,000 people at a time? No. Did I think I'd be the youngest person to address Congress when I was, 27, 28 years of age? No. Did I think I'd be on Oprah all those times, Steve Harvey every Monday? Did I think that I'm going to get my own talk show next year? No, I didn't see all that coming, but God saw it coming.
Right.
So I think that's a cool scripture.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. The last thing I'm going to ask you to do for me is my favorite thing you do on the stage. Will you do your Black Eyed Peas thing?
I'ma be. Oh, I like that you like that.
I love that. That's my favorite thing.
Yeah,
you
because
do.
so I think that everybody's got a I'ma be in them. So little kids, what happens to them is you say, what do you want to be? I'ma be. They're like, I'm gonna be a this, I'm gonna be a that, I'm gonna be a that. And it's cool that I'm friends with all the Black Eyed Peas, so that even makes it cooler. But everybody has a I'ma be in them, even if they're 92 years of age. I was at a home just last week because I visit these homes a lot because my friends' parents are in them or stars that I work with are in them in these retirement homes. I was in one just the other day, a very bougie one. And I was talking to a 92-year-old lady and she was talking about, I'ma be. She was still talking about her dreams
Yeah.
at 92.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's, I think it's just so catchy. And I love that you do that because I think that's just one of those mental things that sticks with people. You know, you can tell them to go be, you can use words,
Yeah.
go be you, you know, And they may not remember that a week from now. But when you use that I'm a bee, I mean, it just is so catchy. And I found myself the first time I heard you do that, a week later, I was like, I'm a bee, I'm a bee. And I was like, wait a minute, Tim Storey's in my head.
That says a lot.
Yeah.
But I think that it's all about you being you and then someone else being themselves.
Right.
And this idea of you've been born an original, don't die a copy. So I'm proud of what you're doing. That's why Dave Meltzer, myself, Dan Fleischman, so many others are backing you up because, number one, I've never been an attorney. I don't know how to be an attorney. What you've had to do to get to where you are in this position, and then you being an entrepreneur, all the other things you are. So congratulations.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you joining me today, Tim.
Thank you.